What the f?
Alright, so I've got George on camera today. I just picked up this 99 town car from Florida. I've got the Florida title in hand. Let's see if it starts. No, she's dead as a doornail. So we're not to get a boost, but they had the booster pack on it running through. So I wonder if the battery's either totally shot or it needs an alternator. This thing's rough, but it's a Florida car. It has no rust at all. Rear suspension works, got good tires all around. Again, the most important thing being that it's from Florida. I paid $325, and then after the auction fees, I'm into it for $475. So these guys will come and give me a jump. Hopefully it'll retain enough juice to get it home. It's got a Mopar battery in it. That's interesting. That's definitely a Florida move right there. Just moving parts around. So I'm gonna go get a jump, and we'll. When it came through, I will say it ran very smooth. The AC was working. We think the windows were up. Usually I'll put them down if the oil's. I mean, it's not clean, but it's not showing any problems. And then nothing alarming there. No sludge.
We got two of them somewhere around here. We got this one and we got another one.
Yeah. There you go. This must be the better one. Yeah. All right, thank you. I appreciate that. You got another one? No, this is one. Thank you. Air compressor works, the air suspension. That's good. I got a little nervous there. I thought it needed an alternator. Probably just has a very dead battery. So we're going to let it charge up a bit. See if the AC works. I'm praying. Oh, it feels like it's getting cold. Yeah, it definitely does work. Beautiful. Okay, good. The air works. It's very important at this point in the vehicle. Power seats do not kinda. This one won't roll back, but it will up and down. No check engine lights, but obviously the battery's dying. It's going to reset every time. Just run smooth. Yeah, no miss. Need some gas. Not gonna be able to shut it off when I go to the gas station. All right, so I'm working with the front-facing camera for a minute here, but this is the new seat that's going in the town car. Here is the old seat, and I really had to battle this thing to get it out because the motor was only working going backward, not forward, so I couldn't get the seat to go forward to get the back two bolts out. And I got a little impatient with it, so I just started really hacking it up and taking it apart. And you can see I pulled this off here to get to the motors. And with the battery hooked back up and me pressing on the forward switch here, I was banging on the motor to move it forward, and sure enough, it gave it a kick of life and it did move forward. So you can see I have the seat out. These carpets are in terrible condition. Unfortunately, I've not been able to find a local junkyard that has a carpet in good condition. Obviously, you can get these online for relatively inexpensive price, but for the time being, I'm going to throw the new seat in. And the old seat, I'm not sure how much I showed of it earlier in the video, was just destroyed. Well, this one I ripped up, but it was just as bad on the bolster on the side where you slide in and out of the car. This seat here is not in the best of condition, but again, it was one of those situations where this is what was available to me when I went to all my local junkyards. It is the same color. There's a slight tear right here, and this is just like the passenger seat where this always rips around the Lincoln logo. However, this seat was only 30 bucks, and that's with the motor, the track, and everything. Yesterday, I was trying to figure out what the cause of the misfire is. I pulled out all of the coil packs and checked them. Just pulled them out, did a real quick inspection of the plugs to see if there was any contamination of any sort on the plugs, and they were all clean. And the coil packs look good. Most of them are replacements. They're newer, so I don't think that's where the problem is. I'm not getting any type of check engine light, which is typical in these Fords, and they're misfiring. You have to really beat on them for a while, and eventually they'll throw a misfire code. This one is not yet. What I'm doing is just changing cheap and easy parts, hoping that will fix the misfire, and if it doesn't, then I have to start looking into a better diagnosis. But I don't mind changing things like a $7 fuel filter. It's good for the vehicle anyway. So here is the old one. I just pulled it out. They have the little plastic clips that just slide right out. Pop the filter in and then slide the clips back in. Didn't even take me a minute. So I haven't started it yet. I'll go ahead and start it with you guys and we'll see if that fixed the problem. And unfortunately, we still have that miss. All right, so I managed to get the town car through a code last night, took it out for a romp, and sure enough, after driving for a few minutes at 60, it threw a code. Cylinder 8 misfire. The one spark plug / coil did not check when I checked the other day, because I did 1 through 7. The firing order, I talked about this in the other video, was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I did those 7. But getting to this number 8 spark plug, a real pain in the neck because of this bracket here for the throttle body. But I managed to get it out of there and pulled the coil. Is an original Motorcraft, so it could be a bad coil. The spark plug didn't look too bad, but I have a couple extras laying around for this engine. So I'll go ahead and throw a new one in just to see if that does the trick. And if it doesn't, then I know I need a new coil. Okay, so I just put everything back in. The only thing I did, because I suspected this would be the actual issue, was I took one of the newer ignition coils. It's an absolute pain in the neck to get to. And I moved the one I suspect is bad over to cylinder 6, so that if I do have to replace, I can get to it in a matter of seconds. And sure enough, it is not the spark plug. It's still misfiring. I'm going to take it out for a quick drive just to hopefully confirm. Okay, so as I suspected, you can see I got the flashing check engine light, P0306. So we have a bad ignition coil. Not a big deal. They have them in stock down the street at the auto parts store for 30 bucks. Most of the coils have been replaced on this thing already. The spark plugs are really good overall, so I'm just going to change what needs to be changed. I'm going to change that one ignition coil and have it running great again. All right, so I just threw in the new ignition coil. I got a nice non-Motorcraft. You know, a lot of you get upset over that, but it was $20 with a discount at Advanced Auto Parts. And you can see now, no more misfire of any kind. So that was the problem. Looks like this thing is all set. All right, so here we are with the 99 town car, just like my 07. I think they're the same color, but it's come a long way. I think it's not a perfect car by any means, but I paid a lot less for this one than I did for the 07. And it's a Florida car with no rust, so I'll always take some minor paint imperfections over rust any day of the week. This fender here had some clear coat damage when I got it. Top of the mirrors, just typical Florida wear, but otherwise really isn't that bad. The roof isn't faded at all. The hood's in good shape. There's just some old bird caca marks here that ate through the clear coat, and nothing to really do about that. But what I'm into this thing for, which I think I bought it for, my winning bid was $325 at the auction. I think after all the fees, I'm into it for $475. I might be even shooting a little too high. I might have been $450. So mid 400s I'm into this vehicle for. Purchase price, auction fees. And all I've bought for it was a coil pack, which was $22. And I bought the driver's seat, which I got a screaming deal on that. And it's, you know, not the best of shape, but there was no sense paying top dollar for a beautiful seat when the passenger seat isn't that perfect either. But you can see, I'd say about similar condition of the passenger seat. And I'm still looking for one of these, the top of the center console, but for now I just put some tape over it. But this is basically a $520 town car with 140,000 miles. It's got no rust, good tires on it all around, good years with good tread. The air suspension works. There's no issues with that. There's no leaks. The bags are good. No more misfires. Ice cold AC. That in itself is a huge thing. I also had to fix the hood pop, which I didn't bother doing that on video because it was one of my typical backyard fixes, but the spring had broke, so I kind of managed to make a zip tie work and fix that. Zip ties can fix pretty much anything, so I had to fix that spring in there. And listen to how nice she runs. Totally smooth, no more misfire. This engine's in good mechanical condition. Oh, there's one more thing I bought. So we'll say I'm into this thing for $550 total. I had to buy this battery, and I got it. I get my batteries from the junkyard. So a $20 battery with the core. So I brought in the old battery it came with, which was shot. And I get this battery for 20 bucks plus my old one. So I'm into it for $550 total. You can hear the cooling fans work. Everything works as it should. And this was a dealer maintained vehicle. Everything goes back to the Ford dealer. It's still got a Motorcraft filter on it, so it needs an oil change soon. It still looks pretty clean. I'll do that soon. So not in the best shape cosmetically, but certainly not the worst one I've ever seen, especially not for 550 bucks. So if I ever wanted to sell this thing, I could easily sell it, I think, for $1,500 to $2,200. What made me want to buy this car is how clean it is underneath. It's got no rust whatsoever, spotless. I'd say it's cleaner than a lot of Florida cars even. It is a Florida car, but some Florida cars, especially town cars like this that live on the coast of Florida, you know, if it was a condo car, as I like to call them, they get a lot of exposure to the salt air. Pretty much all I can say about it. $550 1999 Lincoln Town Car, not the greatest deal I've ever done. It's not a screaming deal. I think it's a good deal, and obviously I could sell this car for a lot more money than what I'm into it for. But you guys see my channel. I buy stuff way nicer than this, way more rare, unique, lower mileage for even less money than I'm into this car for, but it's not a bad buy. 550 bucks, no mechanical issues, very little cosmetic issues. I mean, look at this side, it's straight as an arrow. If I really wanted to, and I'm sure I will down the road, get some better headlights for it, buff out stuff like this. I just wanted to get this video up for you guys. You know, that stuff's gonna take some time. I want to replace this grille in the front because the emblem's a little busted up here, but overall, this is a beautiful $550 town car. It drives beautiful, it runs quiet, it's smooth, there's no issues with the suspension like I said, so it's riding like a town car should. So hell, I'll buy a town car like this for 500 bucks any day of the week. Let's take one more look at the inside. And again, it's certainly not perfect. I really haven't detailed anything. I just put the seat in and threw some floor mats down. So I'm gonna have some people in the comments saying, oh, it doesn't look that good to me. Well, you gotta remember what I'm into this car for. Back seat's in nice shape, as they typically are in these, so it was a lot cleaner than the 07. The 07 was disgusting. This thing, I pretty much just threw the seat in it and it's clean enough. So that's gonna do it, guys. We'll see what I end up doing with this thing. I could always sell it down the road if I wanted to, but you know, I'm enjoying my little town car fleet right now. I got the 07 and the 99. So thanks for watching. Keep an eye out for the next one.